I stood there on our last day of mini camps talking with Micah. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me, yes. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Okay? That's the old mom, dad. Been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that shit here.
Woo!
That's what's happening.
Oh, my goodness, bruh. I made the mistake yesterday. We not making a mistake today because Jerry, I thought what he said with Michael Irvin was bad. Oh, no. This completely kills any ground that Micah Parsons and his side of this thing had to stand on. I got to suit up for this one. Jerry Jones done went straight gangster. Man, let's talk about it. He just gave us all the juice on what's been going on with this contract negotiation, and it's not what many of y'all have thought. Be sure to subscribe for more Dallas Cowboys content just like this, and check out the full interview on Stephen A. Smith's channel because, bro, Jerry was dropping gems in this joint. Man, shut your up. All right, let's get right into it. Y'all already know how I'm doing. We're going to actually increase the playback speed a little bit to get through this thing a little bit quicker. But, man, this full 30 minutes, y'all, I promise y'all it's worth it.
I do that. But confuse that in my mind with taking steps, doing what it takes. I just paid 2 guys last year. Made that highest paid player in the history of football.
Yeah, we'll get into that. $60 million a year. We'll get into that.
Get into that?
Go ahead.
Okay.
And CeeDee Lamb, $136 million. Yeah, we'll get into that.
My point is, I don't have a locked up
Jerry
hand
ain't playing with Stephen A.
check to make this team better. I'll do it. I will do it.
Okay.
And I'll take the risk to do it, and I have done it, and I'm doing it now, and I'll do it again.
Why haven't you done it with Micah Parsons yet?
Well,
Take your
let me
time.
say it just right. I just was on a podcast with Michael for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I invited him to bring Micah and come in since he's got a lot of experience negotiating with me. Michael does. And then by that negotiation 30 years ago, we've remained real associates for 30 years.
That's value.
I said, Michael, did you do your contract with an agent? No. No, but that was then. That's then. This is now. Okay? So I said, Michael, why don't you grab Micah? You're a big fan of his. Think a lot of him. And I do too. Why don't you get him in here? Be sure and pick up what I offered him. Be sure and pick that up when you come through the door on that deal right there. There's right now about 3 entities involved in the Micah Parsons deal that really count, and that's not to dismiss everything about the organization and the Cowboys.
What are the 3 entities?
Micah, me, sitting out there and about a mile back. These are the 2 to get it done. Always has. And these are the 2 that be sitting there working it out when it hits the
He said sitting about a mile back as the agent.
fan. When it's not between the lines on that contract, that's why I'm going to do it.
What exactly happened with you and Micah Parsons that has you in this position where you're so resolute in your stance right now? Exactly what happened?
First of all, I just asked Michael Irvin to grab Micah and come over and let's talk it over.
I'm not
Let's look at
resolute.
it.
I'm talking
Oh,
about
put him in his place. Jerry not playing with Stephen A. ass. Jerry owns Stephen. By the way, bro, Jerry owns Stephen this whole interview, bro. Oh, my gosh.
But I'm just saying, that's not resolute, and you have to take my word we did that. But here's my whole point, is that there is no question that we have negotiations, contrary to the agent's opinion that we're not negotiating. There's no question that we are, in the sense that he knows full well what I'll pay. Knows full well.
Here
Okay,
come.
what we'll pay.
Here come the
so there's no
nukes.
question that that's going. I'm very comfortable with that. Now let's look at the paperwork. I have Micah for 3 more years. I've got him under contract this year. I can franchise him the next year, and I can franchise him the next year. I have him 3 more years. Now, if you summed up what I'm going to pay him through what I'm going to pay him this year and those 2 years, it is much, much, much less. How about 60%?
What did I tell y'all?
So
I've been warning y'all about this, and I told y'all Jerry was petty enough to do this. Hey, and by the way, it ain't no longer petty. If I'm Jerry, after hearing what I heard in this mug, I would do it too. Bruh, I'm telling y'all, stay tuned. This is going to change your whole opinion about this whole thing, bruh.
pointing out that there's a way that you look at it. What is this all about? What is this about?
That's what I'm getting to.
Stephen A., is that I'm going to say 12, 15%
Yeah, loose off
of the
that.
players in the NFL get 2/3 of the money. So that means that you've got to, when you start talking about these hundreds of millions of dollar commitments to a player, you've got to make sure you're right. One miss in that area makes up for paying 3 or 4 Pro Bowlers that are paid less than that out here. Those are critical things. That's why Dak Prescott's got it all put together in the way that it did, with the deliberateness that it did. And that's why it took us 2 years of just these same circumstances to get to his contract. That's with Dak Prescott. That's been my experience.
I'm going to come at you with it like this, because you are my buddy. I'm unapologetic about that. That's right. You don't give a shit about what I have to say half the time. You're totally right. You're absolutely correct, okay?
Hurry up, Stephen A. Quit trying to butter him up, 'cause he about
I
to
think
cook
it's
you.
warranted,
He
but I
about
love
to
you.
fillet
Here's the
you
deal,
and cook
Jerry. I've been on the record stating, here's where my discomfort lies. Jerry Jones has established himself as the creme de la creme, one of the elite businessmen in the history of sports. $12.8 billion is $12.8 billion. You're worth over $16 billion, according to several publications, okay? Money is no longer your problem, Jerry, okay? All I'm thinking about is, you've been negotiating for decades. You've been negotiating before Micah Parsons
And
was
there's a lot
even
of y'all
conceived. We
point.
even
He Jerry
thought
about to
being
kill this
conceived.
point, by the way.
That is a child compared
This is a lot of
to
y'all
you
point
at
y'all
the
been making.
negotiating table.
The
So
Pete and
for
Stephen A.
somebody as accomplished as Jerry Jones
People
to
like
sit across from Micah Parsons and engaging any kind of negotiation, how does that make sense to anybody outside of yourself? Because we know he's a football player. You're a businessman. I would not sit across from you at the negotiating table. I would send my representative to sit across from Jerry Jones. I'm not going to try to negotiate with you. I don't have a prayer. What are you to expect?
Look
from
how
Micah
Jerry looking at Stephen A.
in that regard?
He about
What
to
he's
kill
done as much negotiating as I've done, got there by simple miles.
Okay.
Not winning awards, but by simple miles. You know the only way to get things done, there's no bargains. The only way to get things done is get to where you're going, where both parties can live with it. Okay. Both parties can live with it. That's the art. But I know that, and that does show. I'm the general manager of this team. I'm not the owner. I am the owner, but I'm the general manager. Have been since the day we opened. All contracts have been under my purview since we've been doing it, and the negotiations associated with it. Although I've got some great people. Number one, Stephen, who's a chemical engineer, so he ought to know how to negotiate. My whole point is, I fully understand the difference in experience. Now let me add something to this. Micah Parsons is brilliant, really.
I'm not questioning his brilliance.
He's not only as an athlete, he actually is mentally. And he is very, very, very capable. The only one that I've ever seen that really matched him, and we'll put Michael in there because we did negotiate, was Charles Haley. Maybe one of the best money negotiators that I've ever been around, and there he was, a player to get it done.
Wow.
So it is very, very possible, because
Bitch,
just
y'all
like
wouldn't have pulled
you
that out
have
the bingo
advisors,
pot.
they have advisors. And Micah's got agent.
Yeah. David
And that
Mulligan, to be
agent-
exact.
And that agent is within a phone call of talking about any detail that was there, and was available with any detail that was there. We have agreed on how long this is going to be.
Woo!
And we've agreed on the amount of guarantees it's going to be.
You and Micah.
The package is the biggest ever paid a non-quarterback.
Woo!
That's where we are.
Right.
That's where we are.
But, Jerry,
But because
We
a
knew
third
this, though.
party,
We knew this from Mike
rather
Irvin
than me
interview.
and Micah,
Right.
has got to come in. Why? Because he's got to get his fingerprint on it.
Come on, Jerry.
Come on, please. He's got to get.
Jerry said, now this third person involved, why does he have to come in? Why? Because he got to get his fingerprint on it? Why? And now Stephen A. about to push back. Man, y'all pay attention. This is a gold mine, bro.
His fingerprint on it? All right? You tell me. I'm just telling you.
Right.
Okay?
I'm not
Because
challenging
He
you.
wasn't there. Well, I'm just telling you, though. I'm not challenging you either. But there's no need for him to come into this agreement except to look at all of the details of the agreement,
Exactly.
and all the fine print and all of that. But then he's got to sit here and say, well, is that something that Mike ought to live with? Or should he take playing under this year's contract and be franchised for 2 more years after that?
But Jerry,
Which one?
But Jerry, you told me about this. Let's backtrack. Last year we're talking, and you're talking about life and how beautiful life is. You know, having purview over the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Every time Jerry gangsta up, take a shot. I bet you be messed up by the end of this joint. Every time Jerry gangster up, take a shot of your YN juice.
Being the GM of the Dallas Cowboys, being around young folks, keeping you young, and there's so much stuff that youngsters don't get, and how the world has changed and how you've had to evolve with these
Shut
changes.
up, you ain't saying
Micah Parsons
nothing.
is not 50. He's 25, 26 years old
Here's
now. He
the
wasn't
nuke.
around.
The
So
nuke
when you
is
were doing
coming.
things the way that you
It's
have
coming.
always done it, he wasn't even born yet. He doesn't know. So he comes into this world
Here's the
now.
nuke. It's
He has
coming.
representation. They're telling you this is how business is done these days. All of the other owners capitulate and adapt to that because they recognize these kids are not what they used to be. It's changed now.
Can I interrupt you
Sure,
a second?
please.
You're not talking to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. You're talking to the general manager of the Cowboys. And so all these teams, owners, may not be involved. But in this case, I am the general manager. My job is to do the contract. My job is to sit down. What is at issue here, Steve? What's at issue is not whether I should be negotiating the contract. The issue is who I negotiated with. I'm standard. I'm operating in my shoes here. I'm the general manager and have been since I bought the team. So I negotiated Herschel Walker. I negotiated all the contracts.
That's right.
Okay. Do I have a lot of help? Do I have plenty of fabulous
Here comes the
stuff to
bombs,
go do?
bruh.
Andrew
But that is
Brace.
my job. That's different than the owner.
Here it comes.
Okay. And if for 1 second, if I had not thought that Micah had within the phone right there, step in the bathroom, go anywhere you want to go, or leave and talk to him, could not have his attorneys, hope he's got 3 of them. And I hope he's got 3 agents. And I'm not trying to, I know I sound condescending, but I'm not trying to be. There is no question that he had people to advise him. And these things, these contracts are that long. The reason I'm taking this position is what's not in the contract. And that's where in years to come, when you're laying a couple of $100 million on somebody,
Yeah.
when you're doing that, you want to understand now that's different than the rest of the guys on the team. Okay? Now that guy right there needs a leadership role. Micah could be one of the best leaders ever.
Listen
Could
to
be
you
one of the
just
best
told y'all
leaders.
$200
But guess
million.
what?
Listen,
Other
do the
stuff
numbers
happens
yourself.
along the way. Always does.
Over 4 years. Do the
Always
numbers
does.
yourself.
Guess who's there? Guess who is there?
4 or 5
Wanting to
years.
be there, if no other reason, to protect my relationship, protect the Cowboys, and what have you. But as that document said, I mean, I'm there. I'm there with district attorneys. I'm there with all the other guys. That's why I want to do it, and that's why we want to. Michael came in from Saudi Arabia. Called me from Saudi Arabia.
Listen. Jerry about to start dropping dates, times, and bombs on y'all ass. Listen to this right now. Do y'all all remember when Micah Parsons was in Saudi Arabia doing the Bleacher Report stuff? Pay attention, peep game, bruh.
Coming in.
Michael Irvin.
Micah
Parsons. Got it.
Listen.
Now, he says he didn't want to talk
This is in
necessarily
March.
about a negotiation, but he wanted to talk.
Okay.
Okay. Jerry, can I have your cell number? I don't ever give anybody my cell number.
That is true.
I want to give you my cell number. We negotiate. We go back and forth. We come through. We go the next day. We negotiate.
Jerry just told y'all that he was negotiating with Micah Parsons for 2 days, bruh. And he gave Micah his cell number. He don't give nobody his cell number. Y'all pay attention and listen, bro. He was negotiating with Micah for 2 days. He gave you the exact time when he came back from Dubai. Listen.
Get it all done. I get a call. I don't want you to call me anymore.
This is after they had negotiated, got the whole deal done. Then Micah called Jerry and said, I don't want you to call me anymore.
Micah, don't call me anymore.
He said
so
that
we
to
haven't
you.
called.
Micah Parsons
Of course,
said to you,
of
I don't want you
course.
to call me anymore.
Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
After calling you,
That's correct.
and
Well,
igniting a negotiation,
and
he turns
changing our
around and
numbers,
exchanging
and we
numbers
negotiate,
and
and don't call me
negotiating.
anymore.
And then he called you back and said, don't call, I don't want you to call me
The
anymore.
agent calls. He says, we need to start a negotiation with Micah. Guy says, well, we have negotiated. We'll send you over the deal. Proverbially, just keep it. I won't tell you where to put it, but just keep it. We're going to start a negotiation. Okay? We've had the negotiation, period.
Jerry
wasn't lying about the shove it thing then. I mean, he just gave you the exact time, the exact type of call, the context of it and everything. He wasn't lying, y'all.
somebody picking up the phone and calling you, negotiating with you, and Micah's a brilliant brother. He's smart. I certainly didn't mean to cast any kind of come across.
And by the way,
cast
it's
any
not a signed contract,
I know it's not
which
a signed
makes it no contract.
I understand that. I'm certainly not trying to dilute or minimize his intellect by any stretch of the imagination, what he's capable of. I'm simply pointing to you. I'm saying I get where you're coming from.
Oh my God.
But
Micah,
Jerry,
you're cooked.
you
Micah, you're cooked.
are a billionaire. I understand
PR
the
is
GM. I'm
cooked.
talking to the GM,
Your platform
not just
is
the
cooked.
owner.
You're cooked,
but
bro.
considering
As far
your
as what you're standing
extensive
on.
experience
Especially, Jerry's not done dropping bombs. He's not done. He's not done.
negotiating over the years, what about a pass? What about
What
he's
about a
25,
pass?
He's 26. He made a mistake. All right, I'll talk to his agent because he is an elite player for us. He's going to help us win football games. What about that thought process?
Stephen A., can you look across the first field and look out at the red border?
Listen,
That
y'all!
would be the
Yes,
pilot.
I'm looking at it.
I stood there on our last day of mini camps talking with Micah. Have your agent call me.
You
Have your
talked to
agent
him
call me.
now?
Yes.
You
Have
talked
your
to him
agent call me. Have your agent call me. Have your agent call me. Okay. My point is, in the spirit of not doing.
Micah, this is all your fault. Micah, this is all your fault at this point. Jerry, and we all seen that clip. I'm gonna see if I can find it for y'all to put it in over this. We all seen that clip, bro. We all seen you and Jerry talking at minicamp. We all were wondering what y'all were talking about. People were making jokes about the conversation. The conversation was, have your agent call me.
Doing the old mother-dad deal. How many times have you seen the little rascal so clever go in there and mama told him, you're not going to get it. And goes in to daddy, who only sees him after 5 in the afternoon, wants to love him, and says, you can have it, son. You can have that before dinner. And he goes back in and says, Mama, Daddy said I could have it. That's the old mom, dad, been around since the beginning of time. I'm not going to go for that shit here.
Woo!
That's what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
You're not going for it.
I'm not going for it. No.
Oh,
no.
he's
Does that mean-
teaching
I'm
Micah.
no, I'm
That's
just sitting down, and what I've said, I've asked people to come in and sit down and work through it. But we've had a very, very strong negotiation. Now, by the way, frankly, it wouldn't have made any difference what the negotiation was. Guess who has to be comfortable,
Micah,
and who else?
you.
Hello. There's not room for a third.
Woo!
There's not room for a third. This will be a good one. This will be a good one.
Are you willing?
Jerry just let y'all know he going to war. He said this will be a good one. Jerry let y'all know he going to war. He's letting y'all know this is going to be a good contract standoff. And he's letting y'all know he's going to win this mug. Oh, my God.
Not that you have to, because like you said, you got him under contract for the next 3 years.
Thank you. That's all you need to say.
Yeah, but no, Jerry, because he has asked to be traded. How did that hit you? Based on what you just articulated in terms of a conversation you had with him. Okay, he called you. You didn't call him. You exchanged numbers. Then he turns around and tells you, according to you, don't call me anymore. Call my representation. And then, in the aftermath of all of that, he's asking for a trade. How are you feeling at that particular moment? I know you said it's just business. It's a negotiation. But how are you feeling when you heard the news that he demanded or he asked to be traded?
Well, first of all, let's go to the personal aspect of it. I
Micah
sat with Micah one of the few times that I've done that with a player. I sat with Micah at the Super Bowl, and I sat with him at the Big 12 championship game, he and his family, and we have that kind of relationship. I mean, I feel very comfortable about Micah, the person involved. I feel very, very comfortable about that. So how do I feel about it? How I feel about it is that there takes two to tango here,
Who?
not three.
Who?
It takes two. And we can sit down. It's completely ludicrous. You can have papers that high going through, they can add 2 more to his agency, and we'll add 1 more to the attorneys, and
If you've been taking a shot every time Jerry got gangster, you probably drunk as a skunk.
go through the detail of a contract. That's BS about you've got to have somebody to do the paperwork and what have you. Do you agree with what I'm saying? Generally, somebody else looks at the paperwork.
I agree with what you're saying, Jerry. If you and Mike are of the same accord, if he is of the mindset that he feels his representation needs to be there with him because that's where his comfort level lies, I don't see anything wrong with that either, because that's the way it goes in this day and age with players and representatives.
Thank you. Let me tell you the way it goes too this day and age. Dak came in 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and wanted to redo an existing contract. We didn't get it done, and he played under the contract that he had. And then we tried again, and we didn't get it done, and he played under the contract that
Jerry,
he
you're
had.
killing me.
That's the way it goes. That is the way it goes. And that's what happened. If you didn't have that, you wouldn't have any order in any of this stuff around the league. So my position is real clear. Now, what am I doing? You hit on something a minute ago. You said, well, Jerry, all your money, all of that kind of stuff, and what have you. This isn't my money. This is the team's money. This is the money that goes to building the team. Every team in the NFL gets a certain amount of money and a certain way to pay it out over the years. Everybody has the same. It is very competitive on who does it better there, just like blocking and tackling, the one that does it the best. And the ones that can get Micah, the greatest supporting cast around him, that's the ones that will end up having the most success. That's what's going on here. It's not about me begrudging Micah getting $1 that I'm coming out. I don't think anybody misunderstands that.
No.
I'm sitting here trying to put the team and keep the team in the way that we see is the best way to put it on the field. Now, we need Micah to win. We do need
Do you
him
feel
to
that
win.
way?
Well, of course I do.
Okay.
Of course. I do feel like that. We need him to win. And I'm confident we'll have Micah to win. I can't imagine anybody sitting out for 3 years at all for that kind of go.
So is that
but I will say this, we sure need to do a good job here. I do, we do, the Cowboys, and the terms that we get Micah and the other players to play.
Let me put you on the spot. Are you saying that Micah needs to be willing to sit out for the next 3 years before he wears another uniform other than the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, let me say this, because we passed on that right there. As you well know, an existing player on a team, if somebody is talking to him or his, that is a tremendous violation. And you can get a lot of draft picks if somebody...
Jerry just sent the warning to David Mulligetta. He just let David Mulligetta know, if you sitting here trying to plot a move for the Packers or anybody else about coming to your team, that's a serious violation, bro. Jerry calling people card. Oh, my God.
Should happen to be talking about that. Other than other than me, other than an assignee of mine, or other than me, any talk of trading is BS. There's nothing to it. It's just nothing to it, because everybody knows that you're not going to play for 3 years. Everybody knows that. That's not going to happen. And everybody knows that Micah's a key ingredient for it. Key ingredient. Does this sound familiar to you? How about Emmitt Smith?
You know where I'm going with that.
I saw it in your eyes.
You know that. You know how I am. Now, this man, no, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me remind the audience about you and Emmitt Smith. This man won the first Super Bowl championship for you in 92. He's the leading rusher in the league with over 1,700 yards. He's leading the league in touchdowns. He was third in league MVP voting. And you still made him miss the first 2 games because you couldn't reach a contract accord with him. You missed it, went 0-2 before you ultimately signed him because Jimmy Johnson was losing his mind, and then you brought him, and then obviously you repeated the Super Bowl champions. We go back to that.
Well, can we keep going with that, though?
You want a Super Bowl?
And the way you're doing it. Wait, don't just say it, that low-tone stuff. I want that.
Check up,
but then you
Jerry.
rolled out there
Check
in front of millions of people and won the Super Bowl. Finish it up.
You won the Super Bowl, but what
be
I
fair with your viewers.
I'm my viewers by saying this, Jerry Jones. Emmitt Smith, to this day, at that time, the contract was 4 years, $13.6 million, which was a record contract for a running back in the National Football League. You gave him those dollars, but he had to miss the first 2 games after winning the Super Bowl in order to pull it off.
Do you agree that he wanted more?
Upset.
Do you agree that he wanted more than that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What I'm trying to say is, do you agree that he wanted more than that? And to his credit, by the way, Emmitt Smith and I are business partners.
Yes.
We do business together.
Don't let that go over y'all head. Him and Emmitt Smith are business partners. He's not just an employee for him. Now they're partners. Lifetime benefits, lifetime value beyond just a contract, silly gooses. That's what y'all not realizing, bro. An agent only sees value in a player as long as that player can actually bring that agent the money that he needs, bro. Jerry tries to establish lifelong partnerships with these guys.
And I can't tell you how much I think of him and the way to go. But Emmitt, who...
Y'all think if Micah Parsons wasn't capable of generating millions of dollars, David Mulligetta would give a damn about him? Cut it out.
My goodness, he defined it. When he stepped back, we started winning. Before we had him, we weren't winning. Before we had him that season, and stepped back. But candidly, the dream was to have quarterback dollars and be the highest paid quarterback.
I knew that
and so we had to get our thinking right so that we would be highest paid running back, not highest paid X.
Okay.
I'm sure if this had been at that time, you'd have been saying, but Jerry, you should pay him like the highest paid player in the NFL.
No, I would have said highest paid running back. I wouldn't have done that to you. I wouldn't have done that to you, Jerry. I would have said the highest paid running back, not the highest paid running back.
Jerry ain't going for Stephen A.
I'm saying that with all due respect to everybody concerned. Let me tell you this. Everybody's family is supporting them. Everybody should want, this is America, everybody should want to have the best, the maximum. Because when you're at a spot of demand, that probably doesn't come along again. So everybody should want that. Anybody that has had a chance to do what I've had to do is one of the biggest proponents of getting paid of anybody you've ever seen. I believe it through and through.
You also talked about how hard it was for you to pay primetime Deion Sanders, how you had to walk around and pace around a little bit before you cut that check to get that man here. I remember that story. And you had the money, but it was killing you to get it to him, but you ultimately had to, right?
I got to say this, just because it meant that much. That's about a 30 or 40 minute flight where I grew up from Dallas. And Deion was paid $13 million bonus. Well, about 5 years earlier, all I had was 12. Now you say all you had was 12, but this idiot gave it to buy the Dallas Cowboys at that time. Here I was going to pay him 13 bonus, Deion Sanders. I got Michael first, and I said, this is what we're going to pay him. You good? He said, Deion Sanders, pay the man, pay him. Right. Then I turned around with Troy and Emmitt, and then I took it to the entire team and showed them exactly what we were paying him, did we want him at the time. But then I took and flew back over to my home. And I walked down that old street, saw those old cracks, the same ones I'd seen when a quarter was everything, and a crack in the deal, saw the old tree that I chopped myself the bark off of it. I thought I had lost my way. I've gotten out of perspective on financial. And then
because he was broke and he wasn't used to having that kind of money to even spend, especially not in one lump sum. Because he had perspective, bro, from both sides of things, not just the rich man spending money on athletes.
Turned around and went back, saw the same guy sitting on the porch that might have been sitting there when I was a kid coming down the deal. I looked at that old house I lived in. I said, that was then. This is now. We're going for it. We're going for it. And yes, you're right. I did pay Dion more than anybody had ever paid at that time. And I'll do it to win. To win. What you're doing, though, now is you're doing it, which is common. When one gets it, and the NFL player, it's dollars his teammate does not get. Do we agree on that?
We do agree on that.
Okay, there is a limit as to what you can pay. Should I be doing my job, not win the award on getting the contract signed, I should.
Ooh, that's another shot. Boo, 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 boo. That was another one at David Mulligan. He said, I shouldn't be trying to win the award and getting the contract signed. Oh, Lord.
Be winning the award on trying to get it balanced so we can have all the players that we can afford.
Ooh, Jerry said, y'all got to give me some room to fight. Give me room to fight.
Okay, great players, yes, but more importantly, how about putting some players out there that can win a Super Bowl?
That's a pretty damn hard argument to make when you're paying Dak Prescott $60 million.
There you go. But last year you were talking, or I don't know if you were or not, to be fair to you. But my point is, if everybody becomes the highest, then all of a sudden you've got to have a less of those players, okay, or more. And so you have to think about, boy, that amount of, don't forget, well, it's Micah. Any player, could that get you 3 Pro Bowlers for that player? Yeah. Well, do you know what the odds of having the 3 available? Having 2 of the 3 available for a year or 2. You know what the odds when you pay that money and that you could not have them available and then the team, nobody would be getting the money. Happened to us last year with Dak Prescott. A couple of weeks after we did it, and we didn't have him for the year. That stuff happens. That stuff is, in a way, you've got to think about that when you're putting your team together.
So is that a way? If that's a way of saying it's worth thinking about the possibility that Micah Parsons, because I consider him the face of the franchise. I consider him your best player. I'm not going to lie to you. That's how I look at him. I don't know how you look at him. So maybe I should ask that question first. How do you view Micah Parsons? I know you think he's a great player and very, very important. I consider him the face of the franchise. What do you say to that?
I'm glad that you recognize that. We got him for 3 years, no matter what.
He's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Somebody come to you and offer you a couple of first-round picks, a couple of all-pro players.
Best player along. Shake my hand again. We got him. And we got him for 3 more years.
Somebody come along with
Bro, Jerry is on straight. Oh, Lord, Jerry's on his mob boss time.
a couple of Pro Bowls and a couple of first-round picks, Jerry. What you gonna do?
I'm not here, no. I got this thing, static coming in here somewhere. I'm getting overrun here.
I'm just asking. I want to make sure that nobody has to worry about Micah Parsons going anywhere because that's how much you got.
Just
Stephen A,
know
this
this.
was great, bro.
I'm so proud since you think that much of him.
Yes.
Please say it often, because we do have him, and we're proud of having him.
You said you're the GM.
Jerry said he mine for 3
when
years.
you're negotiating, and it's not the owner. Were you the GM when you negotiated Dak Prescott's contract, CeeDee Lamb's contract?
Yes.
Folks look at that and they said, had you signed him earlier, Jerry, you'd saved yourself anywhere.
All right, this is Stephen A trying to bait Jerry Jones. Listen, watch this. Jerry about to check Stephen A on this.
Is he the man that can deliver you a Super Bowl championship?
Check
I'm
this
counting
out.
2 playoff victories.
Jerry about to stand up for Dak. We're going to end it off with on this.
I not only that, I have my actions to prove it. That's what all the deliberation was about for a 2 or 3 year period when we were working through whether to have an extended third contract. First being when he may imply availability, injury, that type of thing. Well, we watched it. So you can rest assured that with all of any warts or all of anything you can think about, when I made him the highest paid player in the history of the NFL, that I thought he was the guy that gave us the best shot to win.
I know what you thought.
It would have been madness.
I know what you
for
thought.
it not to be.
But I'm asking you what you think now, because he not only signed a $160 million deal, then he came back and signed a $240 million deal. The brother signed for over $400 million. Jerry Jones has signed those contracts for him, and you don't have but 2 playoff victories to show for that. I'm wondering how you're looking at him today compared to how you looked at him before you signed those contracts.
Well, let's say this. Contracts, just say, roll the clock forward to this time last year. So how am I looking at him today as opposed to this time last year? Because we both know what I was thinking this time last year.
He wins during the regular season.
He could take what could come that he can take us to a Super Bowl. I think he can take us to a Super Bowl.
There you go,
and I
Jerry.
feel strongly about that.
There you go, Jerry.
But I had to look at it, and I had to think about it over the years, just as he had to think about whether he was going to sign with us a long-term extension. But we had to look at it, evaluate it. I finally said, look, Dak, we're getting the benefit of his experience. We're getting the benefit of his leadership, which, my goodness, is off the charts. But we're getting all of those benefits as opposed to going out here and starting new, or starting with someone else at the spot. And that's why I did it. We didn't do it the year before because we couldn't come together. Sound familiar? Micah. Okay, we're having a tough time getting together. Okay, so did Dak not play? No, he played. And so the point is, has a contract to play. We'll go at it again sometime in the future if that's the case.
George Pickens is here now. You've got CeeDee Lamb, your wideouts, 2 elite wideouts as far as I'm concerned, with Dak Prescott healthy, because when he's healthy, we know he can win some games during the regular season anyway, because his brother can throw the football. We get that part. I imagine even with Brian Schottenheimer as your new head coach, as opposed to him Mike McCarthy being here, because he's no longer here and Brian Schottenheimer is here, how are you feeling about your offense overall right now, considering the personnel that you have in place?
Well, I want your meter for you when you're talking about Lamb and you're talking about Pickens. I wanted to jump up there when you say Dak, you got Dak. We do have Dak.
Jerry, this interview was aces.
And that's
We're done.
What encourages me, the fact that we've got him, he's healthy. You're unquestionably, we've helped him with Pickens.
Woo! He said, we got Dak. Put your motherfucking level up when you talk about Dak. Oh, bruh, Micah, you know you messed up, right? Micah, you know you messed up. This video already long, so I'm not going to get into my full thoughts. Y'all subscribe to the channel, and you're going to get my full breakdown on this probably in a day or maybe later on. I don't know. Y'all going to get my full breakdown on this. I wish we could talk about the game, but this is more interesting. I ain't going to lie to y'all, bruh. Either way, appreciate y'all for tuning in. How about them Cowboys? Oh, my goodness. Micah, you're done, bruh. You got to, Micah.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.